What is up, everyone? StonePost 34 bringing you 2 videos in a row. That's pretty cool, huh? Bringing you more of growing up with StonePost. And for those of you who have been with me for a long time, this was one of my staples, and I get emails on YouTube and tweets, more growing up with StonePost. So I went back through some of my old videos, and I located a story which was actually a response to a Q&A. And if you remember the Q&A, leave it in the comments because you are an all-star. You have been with me for a while. It was in a Q&A, and it's a story about me dumping my date to the high school dance. And so I'll lay out the details and get into the story. But I was doing a Q&A and giving a guy some advice on going after what you want and getting what you want. So I'm going to give you the story about me dumping the date, the good that came out of it. Yes, there was some good out of it, actually a lot of good, and the bad, and how I dealt with that. And I still, maybe I shouldn't, but I still feel bad about what I did. So let's jump into the story. Let me set the stage for you. I lived in Naperville Central. I was a junior in high school, and I had dated a few girls. It was more of a social experiment. I would not call it a sexual experiment. We were just good friends. We would go to the movies. We'd go to the football games together. It was more of a status than it was really having feelings for. I liked them. We're still friends on Facebook and stuff like that, but nothing beyond that. So I get asked, it was in my science class, get asked by Laura. Laura was a very good soccer player, very attractive, blonde hair. She was kind of in that same boat with me, never really had a serious boyfriend, and I just took it as almost like friends. I didn't take it as maybe the way she took it, as something beyond friends. So she asks me, and I had no other options. I was going to just go and hang with my bros and go out and dance and do stupid stuff and have a good time. So I decide, yeah, okay, whatever, let's go. Now let me back up. About a month before this, I had seen this girl. She was a foreign exchange student, and she was attractive. She was beyond attractive for me in those days. She still is attractive. Her mom, which I found out later, was Miss Madrid. Just a beautiful, beautiful girl. Girl at the time, woman now. And I wanted to meet her. So my buddy Amir, he was the editor of the school newspaper. And I told him, I'm like, man, Blanca, she's just, I want to meet her. She just seems like, well, she was hot. Let's get down to it. But I did want to meet her. I wanted to, know more about her, just the whole mystique of being from another country as well. There was definitely interest on my part. So that month before, he set up this interview, and he wanted to meet with foreign exchange students for the paper, and he was going to write an article on the process and where they came from and such. And so he took me along. I was the photographer, and I wasn't the photographer. He just took me along so he could introduce me. That was a solid by Amir, huge. So long story short, met her, and that way I could, say hey to her in the hallways, that kind of stupid crap you do when you're that age. So long story short, I pick up Laura. We go to the dance, and Blanca was kind of dating a guy at the time. He was a year older. So we go to the dance, and I see Blanca there, and she was with Sandra, who was another foreign exchange student that I actually knew and knew pretty well. And so I went over and started talking with them, and then Laura was talking with some of her friends, and then Blanca just looks at me and says, "You want to go dance?" And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go dance. So I didn't just dance one dance. It wasn't just 2 dances. It was the entire night I danced with Blanca. And, looking back on it, I kind of just saw Laura as more of that friend, not anything beyond that. And needless to say, Laura called her parents, because I drove her in my mom and dad's Caprice Chevrolet station wagon, which was sweet at the time. And her parents came and picked her up. And basically within a week, I was dating Blanca. Now, obviously, I feel horrible about it. I still do. It was kind of a BS move on my part. Just man up and say, hey, I don't want to go to the dance, or hey, Blanca, I'd love to dance with you, but I brought a girl. You know, the old saying, you dance with who you brung. I should have done that. And I probably could have still pursued Blanca at that point. But the good thing is, I had a relationship. I had a great relationship. 4.5 years that Blanca and I dated. I was able to go to Spain a couple times. She came here. We still keep in contact. You know, a lot of good stuff came out of that relationship. So I'm not upset about the good stuff. I am a little disappointed in myself. But, you know, at the time I was 16 years old. And to expect a 16-year-old to make that kind of solid judgment, I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses. So anyway, guys, that is Growing Up with StonePost. I hope you enjoyed it. I got, you know, more stories, but they might be a little bit of a recap. If you remember that story, leave it in the comments. If you didn't, or you want to hear more like that, let me know. But that's it, and I appreciate you watching, and take care as always. This is StonePost 34.